Okay, so for the review sheet, the odds, we're going to follow order of operations. So 2 to the 4th, x to the 12th, y to the 4th, z to the 16th. That's all being multiplied by 2xy squared z. This is 16. 2 to the 4th is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. X to the 12th times x to the 1st is an x to the 13th. And then we've got y to the 4th times y squared, which is y to the 6th, and z to the 17th. So that's our answer for that first one. The next one, 64 to the 1/3, means the cubic root of 64, which is 4. So this is 4, a to the 4th, b to the 4th, all raised to the -1. The next one, square root of, or 4 to the 1/2, means square root of 4, which is 2. So this is 2ab to the -2, all raised to the -2. 4 to the -1, a to the -4th, b to the -4th, times 2 to the -2, a to the -2, b to the 4th. Okay, 4 to the -1 means 1 over 4 to the +1. Then the a -4th comes down to the bottom, becomes a to the 4th. And same thing with the b to the -4th, flips to the bottom, becomes b to the +4th. 2 to the -2 is 1 over 2 to the +2. A to the -2 flips to the bottom, becomes a to the +2. B to the 4th is going to stay on the top because it's a positive exponent. So when I multiply straight across, b to the 4th over b to the 4th cancels. I have a 1 on the top, 16 on the bottom, because I have 4 times 4. 8, 2 squared is 4. And then an 8 to the 6th. Next one, I would probably reduce 2/4 to 1/2. And then 1 squared is 1. X to the -8, y to the 2nd. We multiply exponents. Then it's 2 squared, x to the 6th, y to the -12. All right, so this is 1/4. And then what we got, x to the -8 minus 6. We've got y to the 2 minus -12. So this is 1/4 x to the -14th, y to the +14th. So my answer is y to the 14th stays on the top. And on the bottom, we have 4, and then x to the -14th flips to the bottom and becomes x to the +14th. Next one, 4m to the 0. Order of operations says do m to the 0 power first, which is 1, and then multiply by 4. So that's what the first part of that would be. 8 to the -2/3 is 1 over 8 to the +2/3, which means cubic root of 8 squared. The bottom number is the root, the top is the exponent. So this is 4 plus cubic root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4, so this becomes oh, why did I change? I'm sorry, I changed 1/8 to 8. Sorry. So we flipped the base. We had 1/8 to the 2/3. So that's the cubic root of 1/8 squared. Cubic root of 1/8 is 1/2. 1/2 squared is 1/4. So you got 4 plus 1/4, or 4 1/4. Next one, we want to think about any perfect squares. So, and then non-perfect squares. 4 is a perfect square. Y to the -6th is a perfect square because it's an even exponent. Now for the x's, the largest number divisible by 2, closest to 15, is x to the 14th. So this is x to the 14th and x. Okay, so 2, x to the 7th, y to the -3rd, right? When you take a square root, you divide the exponents by 2, and then radical x. So let's see, it's 2x to the 7th, radical x, over y to the 3rd. Y to the -3rd flips to the bottom, becomes y to the +3rd. Okay, with 4th root, and be careful if it's 4th root, you got to keep it 4th root. 256, you could take the 4th root of 256. You can also take the 4th root of x to the 12th because 12 is divisible by 4. 5 is not divisible by 4, but 4 is divisible by 4. So if you make this y to the 1st and y, that's y to the 5th. This is a perfect 4th root. This is not, so it stays under the 4th root. So the exponents will be divided by 4. 13, we multiply by the conjugate, so 5 plus radical 2. Here we have to distribute, so this is 5 radical 3 plus radical 6. Remember, a radical and a non-radical do not get multiplied, but a radical and a radical do. On the bottom, we have to FOIL. First, give me 25. Outers is plus 5 radical 2. Inners is minus 5 radical 2. And last is minus 2. So my answer is 5 radical 3 plus radical 6 over, let's see, 25 times, or 25 minus 2 is 23. And these in the middle cancel out because they're plus and minus. 15, distributing our negative, we get 3x squared minus 4x plus 1 minus 4x squared plus 4x plus 7. Combine like terms, negative x squared. These cancel, and it'd be plus 8. '17 is division. So we have to take the 8xy squared, divide by 2xy, the 4x squared y, divide by 2xy, and the 2xy and divide by 2xy. So we're getting 4y for the first one. Second one, we're getting a 2x. And you have to be careful. This cancels to 1 over 1. So we do still have a plus 1. You can't just ignore a plus 1 or a minus 1. A times 1 or divided by 1 is insignificant, but not plus or minus. Common denominator for the next one, we're subtracting fractions. Whenever you subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. So I need to factor the denominator first to see what would be common. So x plus 3, x minus 3. X plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, so the first one has the x and the x minus 3. we need the x plus 3. So that's what I have to put up top. And here we got the x plus 3, x minus 3. We need the x, so that's what I have to put up top. So this is x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus an 8x. So this is x squared minus 3x plus 6 over x plus 3, x minus 3. So remember, with adding and subtracting, you do want to distribute the numerator so that you can combine like terms. Now, next we're doing multiplication. Multiplication, we want everything factored. On the bottom here where you see 4 terms, you should be thinking factor by grouping. So with the first two, I factor out an x squared, I get x plus 1. Second two, I factor out a negative 9, and I get x plus 1. Times, here I factor out an x plus 3. Okay, now the bottom of the first fraction, I pull out the x plus 1, and I've got x squared minus 9. And then from there, x squared minus 9 is x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, so x plus 3's cancel here, top and bottom. X minus 3's cancel here, top and bottom. The x over x cancels on top and bottom. So I just have 1 over x plus 1. 21 is a complex fraction where we're going to multiply through by the least common denominator, which this would be x plus 2, x minus 2. So if I multiply by x plus 2, x minus 2, and then same thing here, x plus 2, x minus 2, x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, so here that cancels. We just have a 5 on the bottom. Here the x plus 2's cancel. We have to distribute the negative 5. So it's a negative 5x plus 10. Here the x minus 2's cancel. We distribute the 5. It's 5x plus 10. So these cancel. We've got 20 over 5, which is 4. So just be careful you distribute that negative. All right, 25, we can do a synthetic division, right? We're dividing by a degree 1 polynomial. So it's 2x to the 4th. There's no x cubes. Negative 3 for the x squared, 4 for the x, and negative 1 for the constant. Bring down the 2, multiply, put it underneath, add going down. 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 This is the remainder. So if this is the remainder, the 120 is my constant, 29 is the coefficient of the x, 8 is the coefficient of the x squared, and 2 is the coefficient of the x cubed. So it's 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 29x plus 120 plus the remainder over the divisor, the thing we're dividing by. Okay, 27 has to be long division because now we're dividing by a degree 2 polynomial. So the x squared plus 0x plus 2 is going to go into the 5x to the 4th. There's no x cubes, minus 3x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, so then I say, okay, 3 terms are going to go into 3 terms. What do I put up here? What times x squared is going to give me 5x to the 4th? So the first here times the first here has got to give me the first here. So that'll be a 5x squared. So this is 5x to the 4th plus 0x cubed plus 10x squared. And then we subtract going down. So this is minus, minus, minus. And actually what happens here, so this cancels, we have a minus 13x squared. We're going to have to bring down both of these now because we need 3 terms to go into 3 terms. So now I say, okay, what am I going to put up here? Times an x squared is going to give me the negative 13x squared. So that'd be a negative 13x. No, sorry, negative 13. So negative 13 times x squared is negative 13x squared. Negative 13 times 0, so plus 0x. Negative 13 times 2 is negative 26. So I subtract going down. So this goes plus, minus, plus. That's 0. This is 1 minus 0, which is a 1x plus 27. So my answer is 5x squared minus 13 plus the remainder over the divisor. All right, and now we've got some factoring. So for 29, this is SOAP. This is the difference of 2 cubes. So that's our SOAP formula. A, we're going to say, is the cubic root of the x cubed, which is x. B is the cubic root of the 125, which is 5. Remember, so if it's a squared or a cubed minus b cubed, then we go a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so then this is a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Next one, we got to recognize that's a perfect square trinomial. So we're going to write that as x plus 4 squared. And then this is a difference of 2 perfect squares. So now we're going to do 2 sets of parentheses plus minus. Square root of x plus 4 squared is x plus 4, x plus 4. Square root of 25y squared is 5y, 5y. $33, whenever I see 4 terms, just like in the last one I saw 4 terms, I should be thinking grouping. This was just a 3 by 1 grouping. We had to group the first 3 and notice it was a perfect square trinomial. With 33, this is going to be a 2 by 2 grouping. I know that because there's no perfect square trinomial. So with the first 2, I'm going to factor out an x squared, get x minus 1. Here I'm going to factor out a 2 and get x minus 1. So to do the 2 by 2 grouping, you need to get this common factor in both of them, the x minus 1 in this case. So you pull out the x minus 1, you get the x squared plus 2. And that's it. We can't do anything more with that, so we're done. 35, difference of 2 perfect squares. So I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses, plus, minus. Square root of 81, 9, 9. Square root of x plus 5 squared is x plus 5. Now here I have to put parenthesis x plus 5 because it is following a subtraction sign. So whenever you have a binomial, trinomial, more than one term following a subtraction sign, you have to know to put it in parentheses so that you distribute the negative. So this is x plus 14. That's just me combining like terms. This is going to be 9 minus 5, which is 4, and then minus x. So that's just me distributing the negative. 37 is my guess and check. 10x squared could be 10 and 1 or 5 and 2. I usually start with the least extreme, the ones that differ by the least. So I would start with 5 and 2. 3 is prime. The only thing that's going to multiply to give me 3 is 1 and 3 or 3 and 1. So I think what we want here is 1 and 3. And the way we'll know is we're going to check our outers, 15x. Our inners is 2x. How will those add to 13? If we make the 15 positive, the 2 negative. So the 15 part is positive, the 2 part is negative. Notice the last still multiply to give me a negative 3, which is what I want. The way you check a factoring problem is to FOIL it back through. If you FOIL that back through, you will get what we started with. And finally, last one, difference of two perfect squares. So, and I'm going to need some big parentheses here because the first is a binomial and so is the second. So take the square root of x minus 4 squared, we get x minus 4, x minus 4. Square root of y plus 3 squared, y plus 3. And since this follows a negative, y plus 3 in parentheses, follows a minus sign. So this is x plus y minus 1. That's me combining negative 4, positive 3. This one is x minus y, and then it'll be negative 4 minus 3, because we'll be distributing that. So negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. So that's my answer there. Okay, that's it for the odds.